I could tell that Destiny was really happy with him. She was smiling, and I feel like it does affect Destiny. She just doesn't want to say it.
And I think she's still processing.
Who are we?
Do you like the view?
I mean, oh fuck. I'm not gonna.
I guess karma is real. Kassy spent the whole day with Carmen bringing up this rumor that Harrison is playing games and he really wasn't into Destiny. And guess what happens? Leo goes on a date and Leo's all giggly and he's sitting like he's got ants in his pants. He can't sit still. You can tell he's ecstatic about Imani and there's a possibility his head, well, it's slightly turned in my opinion. That's what I think. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island, Season 5, Episode 15. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button and turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. If you've been here a while, since Jonah moved into the villa, you know that I don't think he's it. I don't think he's it for Destiny. I still maintain Harrison was, of her three couplings, he was the best, in my opinion. People have different opinions about him post them uncoupling, but that's my opinion. So Destiny and Jonah sit down for a conversation. He brings up the fact that, she's the most recoupled girl in the villa. And it's like, why would you say that? He discusses, I know you've been in a coupling with Harrison. When Harrison was in a coupling with Destiny, he never once brought up Marco. We never heard him say anything about Marco or Destiny's coupling with Marco or how he wanted to be different from that. They always spoke about themselves as a unit and nothing to do with everything else. He moaned about the fact that, Destiny is very slow. Destiny said she's picked her pace with everyone. And that is true. With Marco, she tried to go along with him to see how things would go. And after Marco, she was very cautious. But with Harrison, it seemed more organic. It seemed more spontaneous. And they seemed to really get along, such that I don't understand what's happened. Or, well, I have some sort of theory as to why they've got to where they are. And so he says, I would like us to open up more. I would like us to move at and Destiny insists that she's going to move at whatever pace she wants to move at. And I give her credit for that. I think Jonah is giving me the same vibes that Marco gave me. They are both in it for a good time. I know Harrison has sort of turned around and behaved differently with Emily, but when he was with Destiny, it seemed like he was looking at the sort of the long game. He wasn't just focused on them, just the 2 seconds that they were in the villa. And I think Jonah's goal has always been to minimize Destiny's relationships or couplings with the other guys and to make himself look better. His goal has always been to minimize Destiny's relationship with Harrison. The way that he behaved soon after they recoupled, the fact that he had his hand on her lap, the fact that he was laughing as soon as he saw Harrison walking by, the fact that he spoke about Destiny putting her bum in his crotch when Harrison came by, but he didn't say anything when it was just him and Kenzo. His goal is to wind Harrison up. His goal is to make sure that Harrison uncouples with Emily because he wants Emily. At the end of the day, that's what he said. That's his long game. His long game is to go after Emily. He's just with Destiny as a bus stop. And I think he's going to do anything and everything to aggravate and get a reaction from Harrison. And I give Harrison a lot of credit because he hasn't said anything outside of the water balloon. He hasn't said anything that we've seen to Jonah. You'd expect him to have pulled him aside to say, don't say A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But he hasn't said anything. He's just stood aside and watched and just let them be. And I think this is why there's that rift, but I'll talk about it when I get to the Harrison and Destiny bit later. And then we have Kassy, Hannah, Marco and Leo sort of sitting and chatting, and it's like, but they seemed cute. They were playing games, and then the text message came for the hideaway, and you could see that. I think Carmen was very quick to mention Hannah because she didn't want to be mentioned to go to the hideaway. I don't think she's as serious as she makes out about Kenzo. So Hannah and Marco go to the hideaway, and they deserve to go to the hideaway because, okay, they're the couple that's got a stronger connection, one. Two, they have been handsy all the time in their bed, so it's time they go for a release to the hideaway, and they made the most of the hideaway, the jacuzzi, and both the bed, and so I'm not shocked. I wasn't expecting anything else. The other islanders get ready for bed. And Keenan is saying, oh, Marco is all talk and no game. Well, he was game, so it is what it is. The islanders go to bed. And Destiny is a totally different person. She's very withdrawn since she had to recouple with Jonah. The same with Harrison. She's a totally different person. And I don't get how they've gone from being sort of attached at the hip to suddenly being separated and being at different ends of the villa. I don't get that. Obviously, they do see each other when the islanders are helping Marco and and Hannah get ready. They sort of walk past each other and they have a brief conversation. I don't know what the conversation was about, and I don't know why the producers have decided not to show us anything since the recoupling. And then in bed, you see Harrison and Emily get busy. Am I surprised that that happened? No. This is what Emily's been wanting from the moment she recoupled with Harrison. She's been talking about how good looking he is. She's been talking about how fine he is, how sexy he is. She's been wanting this and she's been pushing for this, and she finally got what she wanted. So I'm not surprised by that. In the morning, obviously, there is a debriefing. And they do talk about the fact that, Carmen is very happy in her coupling. She thinks things are very organic, things are very easygoing. So she's happy with that. They then talk about Destiny and how she feels, and Destiny said, I'm okay. It seems every time I'm in a couple with someone, somebody else has to come and steal them. She was in a coupling with Marco, and then Hannah came and took Marco. She was in a coupling with Harrison. Emily came and took Harrison. So she said, I must be, there is, because everybody wants the guy that I'm with. And I am proud of myself because I keep moving on. And I was really surprised that you were very quiet. You didn't say anything, you didn't do anything. And it scared me for a bit. Emily's sitting there, she's just watching. I think of all the couplings at the moment, the one that hurt Destiny the most is Harrison. But the way she's decided to deal with it is to just sort of keep it in and not say anything or do anything, because she's become more reserved. She's become sort of, you see her alone most of the time. The night after the recoupling, she was in the bathroom and she wasn't doing anything. I don't know whether she was just avoiding people or whatever. She was just there until the time Marco was asking her about her new coupling, or until the time Harrison came and said hello to her and she was in the bathroom. And I think whether she's processing what's happened or whatever she's doing, she's decided just to keep it to herself. Harrison on his part said, I think, because Harrison, when he's talking, he says, he's enjoying his new coupling. He thinks that things are organic. They are becoming more physical. And also he thinks he might have to have a conversation with Destiny. And when he's asked about Destiny and whether he was physical with Destiny, he's very, no, not really. He's very protective about Destiny. He doesn't come out and say, no, she refused, or yes, we did. They were doing something under their duvet, because half the time you'd see them under the duvet, they were doing something with Destiny. But Harrison is not going to come out and say what it is until Destiny comes out and says what they did, or until Destiny gives him the green light to say so. I don't think he's ever going to say that. I think Harrison is going to get the ick from Emily very soon, because the fact that he emphasized that, oh yeah, things are becoming physical. He's happy that they're moving, but they didn't expect them to move as quickly as they did. That to me says it sort of made him stop and take a pause and want to know, why are things moving so quickly? Is this the type of person that he wants in his life? Because I remember him saying Jasmine was a red flag because she slept with her a friend or a brother of her ex just to get back at him. And so I think for him, that sort of might be an amber flag going towards red, not towards green. I think the way sort of Emily's behaving is an amber flag for Harrison, and I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks up with her, or if somebody else he feels more connected with comes in and he decides he wants to move on. So Hannah and Marco come back from the hideaway. They are very vague, which I like, that they're not as explicit as KK and Keenan were when they came from the hideaway. They say they did everything outside of the home run, but I don't think so. I think they did the whole thing. I think they did the whole thing, but they've decided to keep it to themselves, and they know that the producers will never show it, so that's good for them. And then you have Carmen and Kassy sort of having a conversation about Harrison, saying that he's playing a game. Harrison and Destiny have always been very reserved. So I don't know why people are suddenly finding it shocking that they're not out there and they're not screaming at one another, they're not throwing tantrums. This is who they've been in their coupling. They've always kept to themselves. They've always kept quiet about whatever they were discussing or whatever they were doing. And if they were asked something that was very intimate, they've always found a way of sort of snaking themselves out of that situation without revealing anything. And so for them to suddenly say, oh, he's playing a game, he seemed very genuine with Destiny and he seemed very genuine with Emily. I don't think so. Harrison had fully invested himself in Destiny. But the only aspect that was missing was they were physical, but I don't know how far they were. And I think had the bombshells not come in, they might have progressed, because after the three-way kiss, he did ask her, how adventurous are you? Because I'm trying to figure you out, as in, where do you stand? Because his conversations with Destiny were never very explicit, and I think he knows himself that he's very direct and he can be brutally honest. And I think this is why he was always very cautious of what he said to her, because he was very protective about her, and it seemed he really cared about Destiny. So for them to suddenly say he's a game player because he wasn't genuine, it wasn't forced with Destiny. He wasn't forced. He was always next to Destiny. He was always holding Destiny, kissing Destiny, touching every single time. What I agree with is the fact that both Harrison and Destiny are hurting with their breakup, but they don't know how to process it. And they're two people with very big egos. And unless they let go of their egos, they are not going to be able to process whatever's happened to them. And they're never even ever going to be able to forgive one another and try and give it another go if they want to, just because they're both in their feelings and they're both sort of trying not to get hurt again. That's my opinion. So Harrison walks over to where Destiny is sitting for a chat because she's isolating herself. I noticed it before, and it's good that Carmen and Cassie also said that she is keeping to herself. She's not saying anything, but they feel that she's hurt. So Harrison sits down for a conversation with Destiny. I really wish we had the full length of the conversation. We were only given sound bites, and the producers have been doing this for quite some time, whereby they only give us sound bites. They don't give us the full conversation or the full context of what is being said. So Harrison starts to explain that things with Emily are going great, and Destiny shuts him down. Destiny is hurting, and listening to Harrison talk about his relationship with Emily is not going to help that. Harrison, on his part, is hurting. The fact that Jonah was bragging about Destiny, putting her bum in his crotch, I will repeat that. That hurt him the most. And the fact that Destiny seemed to be laughing and hugging Jonah hurt him as well. But even though they're very good communicators and they were very good at communicating when they were in the coupling, because they're in so much pain, they don't want to show that they're in pain, and they don't want to be the weaker one in between the two of them. They don't want to be vulnerable and reveal how badly this has hurt them. They would rather continue to play and say everything is okay. So Destiny shutting Harrison down, I know a lot of people are celebrating, oh, she gagged him, she did. That was a defense mechanism on my part, in my opinion. That was her protecting her heart, because the more she hears about it, the more painful it's going to be. This is someone she really liked and was on the road probably to falling in love with. And for him to suddenly be with somebody else, and for him to be sort of in a position whereby he's becoming more intimate with the other person, any one of us would be heartbroken. Harrison, that's the same thing. And for Harrison, I think he was taken aback when she stopped him, and then when she made the joke about liking her stuff new and not used and stuff, and what hurt him more is the fact that she said she liked at the recoupling. She wasn't really hurt by the recoupling. She realized that she liked Harrison because he was a shiny thing, and she was. That is Destiny protecting her heart. That is Destiny protecting her heart, and in protecting her heart, she's managed to sort of break Harrison's heart, in the sense that whatever feelings he had for Destiny, they're going to sort of he's going to be questioning himself, that, so did I feel that way for Destiny and she didn't feel anything for me? It was just superficial. I think the two of them are protecting their hearts. They're being very defensive. I wish they had a very open conversation. Anyway, this was the start. I think they need to have another conversation. You could see that Emily was anxious because she was sitting in the background. I still think there's a lot of love and care there, because Destiny said we're cool here and we're also cool on the outside, meaning that even though they've uncoupled, that doesn't mean that they're going to start, being better towards one another like she was with Marco. I don't think so. And the fact that she spoke about the outside as well makes me think that there's more to their connection than we were shown, and that they had more conversations that we actually saw. And I hope they take another go at this communication thing. I hope they sit down again once they've healed and sort of try and dissect what's happened between the two of them and see if they can reach a better understanding. Because even at the end, the way Harrison kissed her and you hugged her, you can still see that there's a lot of love and care there. But it's how they sort of navigate that into sort of expressing themselves and expressing their hurt and their pain is what's the main problem for the two of them. And I think they're two very proud people, And so it's going to be difficult for one of them to sort of give in and express fully how they feel. I think they both would rather end where they are right now, because then the pain doesn't get any worse than if they sort of open up their old wounds and then they end up getting more wounds and it becomes more and more painful and more uncomfortable for them. I don't know. We'll see. So Kassy and Carmen started a rumor that Harrison is calculated, and they are surprised that he moved on that quickly from Destiny. And yet, surprisingly, she has the nerve to run up to Emily and say, "Oh, there's this theory about Harrison that's going around the villa. You are the theorist. You're the one who created this theory. Why are you pretending as though it's not you? Oh, I think he's more genuine with you. I think he was being fake with Destiny." I think Cass is trying to play Destiny back for revealing that she and Leo kissed to Anna. And I think this is why she's decided to start this rumor, because for her to have the nerve to say Harrison was very fake and he was faking things with Destiny, we all saw the same thing, and she was there in person, so I would assume she saw even worse. Because why would she think he was faking it? Why would she think she was faking it? They were all there. They were all every time Harrison did something for Destiny, and suddenly now they're claiming that he was faking it. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's being a bit too petty. I think they're trying to get back at Destiny, and so she's looking for a way to hurt Destiny and then keep her hands clean and let nobody know. Emily, oh please tell me if he's faking it with me. You would know if he was faking it with you. You would know, and you know that your connection with him is not as strong as his connection was with Destiny. If you're honest with yourself, you will know. What the two of you have is physical. They had more an emotional and a spiritual sort of connection. They did have a physical connection as well, but they decided to keep that very private under their duvet. They'll give each other a peck from time to time, but whatever they did under their duvet, they never ever came out up and told anyone. Because you'd find Destiny smiling, or you'd see Harrison smiling, and the two of them would just cover their heads and keep quiet, and you wouldn't know what's going on. Whereas you felt the need to sort of brag about it to everybody who had ears to hear. I don't get that. And then Jonah pulls Destiny for a chat. Jonah's not in with it. Is not in to Destiny because he wants a romantic connection. He's into Destiny because he wants to prove that he's the better guy out of the three guys that she's been with. Because Destiny said, we've had a conversation, we're moving on, there's nothing there, whatever. Because he wanted to know exactly what's going on. And then he said, oh, well, I would hope that if you and I, were to recouple, we would be okay and we would be able to move on. And Destiny's like, well, my issue with Harrison is because it's a little too late. And I think Harrison was giving her time. He was trying to process the pain from what he had seen and heard, and you thought she was processing whatever she was going through. And by the time he came to her, she says it was a little too late. I wish they'd had more of more of an in-depth conversation. I wish they talked more about that. And for Jonah to say, well, when you and I recouple, I hope we can still be friends. Why are you worried about that at this point in time if you are not yet interested in moving on? You are trying to be the best person possible. You're trying to play up a character. You are the calculated one. In my opinion, Jonah's the calculated one. Because everything he's doing, it's as though it's a competition with Harrison or a competition with Marco. He wants to be the best out of anyone that has been in Destiny's life. No, when Harrison came in, he was just Harrison. He didn't want to compete with Marco. He never once brought up Marco. Why do you feel the need to bring up Harrison all the time? So the islanders receive a text message to say that, Bergie and KK are going on a date. And so they're excited for Bergie, but they're a bit nervous for KK, as I've said. Harrison glances at Keenan because he can see that Keenan is freaking out. And I think he's sort of giving him a sign that just try and play it cool. I've been there. I know how it feels. I understand your pain. And then Keenan now tries to pacify himself around the villa and he's having a conversation. I liked what he said because Jonah was there, because he said, as long as this guy comes in, and if he's interested in KK and has a conversation with me and is respectful, then I'm okay with it. But if he's disrespectful, then I will have a problem. And this is what Jonah has done. He's been disrespectful towards Harrison, and nobody has clocked him on this, and nobody has called him out for this. And I don't know why. Even the viewers haven't said anything. I don't know whether it's because Harrison had already been tainted by the time Jonah came in, so people had this negative impression of him, and that way they didn't see how offensive Jonah was being. Anyway, everybody tries to pacify Keenan, but Keenan knows that he's in trouble. So they go on their date with Imani and Mike. Bergie, I liked him. He seemed very excitable, and he was very happy. He complimented every feature on Amani, her body, her face, her lips, and everything. He was ecstatic. I think she sort of was a bit nervous when he first came up, but as she spoke to him, she warmed up to him. So with uh Imani, I can see him having a relationship similar to the one he has with Hannah, and academically they might bond on that because they seemed to find something in common. They were talking about molecules and stuff. But will she find him romantically? No, I don't think so. I think the only way she'd couple with him is if nobody else was interested. And then Mike, I don't really think is into KK. I really don't. I think KK likes him, but I don't think it's reciprocated. So I don't know. I'm very nervous about that. Um, nah, I don't think he's it. I don't think he's it. I hope they bring in someone else for KK to try with, but I don't think Mike is it. So back at the villa, you have Destiny having a conversation with Kenan because Kenan is nervous about the fact that KK is on a date and he's worried that she might have her head turned. And Destiny is trying to reassure him, Kenan, to say that as a woman, she knows that KK is not someone to just be intimate with someone and then move on to the next person. So he needs to relax and know that he's good. And then Destiny receives a message. The most interesting thing ever. So she receives a message to say she's going on a date. And Jonah's taken aback because Jonah was trying to make it seem like he was the prize because all the guys that are coupled up with Destiny move on to somebody else. So he's just waiting to move on to the next person and didn't expect Destiny to receive a message, and he was in his feelings. And also, Harrison, if you clock him, he's in the back with Emily, but when Destiny is reading the hashtags, you know, and goes a date with Destiny, you can see him look down. He's feeling some type of way. Harrison still likes Destiny. He might not say it because he didn't get the chance because she shut him down, but he's feeling some type of way that if Mike comes in and starts to pursue Destiny, it's going to be a problem. It's really going to be a problem because Harrison is not over Destiny. He's enjoying the benefits that come with being with Emily, but he's not over Destiny. And that was evident in his face as soon as the message was read. And for Jonah to go into confession and say, "Oh, Destiny is hoping this guy will be more close." No, she's not. She's always said she's open to the idea that whoever she's in a coupling with is still open until they decide they're closed off. He's just trying to protect himself. He's trying to macho man just because his feelings are hurt that he's not the one who got to go on a date first before Destiny. I think he thought Destiny would be clamoring for his attention, and it seems she's not even blinking an eyelid. She's excited to be going on a date and she's ready to move on. Because I think romantically, she's not feeling Jonah at all. She's happy he chose her to recouple. They get along as a friendship, but I don't think she sees him in a romantic sense. And I think this is why she's refusing to kiss him on the lips and she's telling him to kiss her on the cheeks. With Harrison, she was okay with kissing him on the lips all the time, which makes me think that he is in his feelings and he's feeling some type of way, Jonah, and he's trying to protect himself. That's why I say, oh, I think she's hoping that this new guy will come in and want to be closed off. No one would walk into the villa and say they're closed off. Just say you're feeling some type of way because you're not the one to get the attention first. That's how you feel. Harrison is being a big boy. He's just standing there. He's looking down and he's processing his pain. He hasn't said anything. You feel the need to run to the confessional. What do I think of Leo and Destiny's days with Imani and Mike? I think they were better than their first round. I know Imani had a great time with Bergie and they really hit it off, but I don't know whether they hit it off romantically or whether it was more of a friendship. I think Mike, he sort of liked KK, but I don't think he liked it as much. I think he was better with Destiny, although I think it was more performative in the sense that he pulled out the chair for her, but never sort of pushed it back in. Destiny had to do it herself. There was a little bit of a flirt session going on there. Do I think she'll like him? I don't think so. I think it's good competition for Harrison, though. I think he'll make Harrison's head, perk up a bit when you see Destiny walk in with Mike. I think he will stop whatever nonsense he's up to because I don't think he's as threatened by Jonah as he will be by Mike because then he'll start to think because he wasn't happy that she went on the date, so I think he'll start to think. And then Kama Israel. Kassy spent the whole afternoon busy waffling on about Harrison is playing games, and here she is, Leo's on a date, and Leo is sinking. He's standing in quicksand and he's just sinking. He's sinking. He's trying to hold on. Nothing will keep him up. You can see he was excited. His head is turned. Not fully, but his head is turned enough for him to sort of be nervous and say, "Oh, I'm nervous, I'm nervous." I think KK herself knows that Leo's head is going to be turned, and she is worried that his head is going to be turned, but there's nothing she can do really because he is someone who I don't think is ready for a committed relationship at the moment. I think he's happy to play games. I think he's happy to flirt, but I don't think he's ready to sort of create a romantic connection with anyone that's long lasting. Um, do I think he'll make a cute couple with Imani? I think so. Because at the moment, there's no guy that's mature enough to sort of have a lasting relationship with, or to have a sort of some sort of substantial relationship with Imani. I think I would have said Harrison, but then Harrison, the way he's moved with Emily, sort of gives me pause for question to as to what's going on there. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out, but I don't know. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.